Hey guys, welcome to Choke Points. In this video, we are going to talk about India's Prime Minister Modi's Ethiopia visit. Now, why this visit is very important, that's something we're going to learn in this video. Why it is important and what's going to happen, and the whole entire timeline of it, the way things are. For example, just on 4th or 5th of December, Russian President Vladimir Putin, visited India. He was on a state visit to India, and during that visit, India and Russia, they talked about INSTC, the trade corridor, making sure that trade corridor is handled properly and it's finalized so that it becomes usable. Which trade corridor was that? It was International North South Corridor. I mean, in so many years, I have heard talks, I have heard the talks, some mentions here and there about the trade corridors and all. But the way INSTC, the Vladivostok Chennai corridor, all these corridors were mentioned and brought up in such a serious fashion, that tells me that they are serious about that. Now, then India, Russia also, they were talking about trading in national currencies. Then also they were talking about they talked about increasing their trade further, and India to start exporting to Russia, and Russia to open its market for India. And then and then couple of days later, just few days ago, actually, India actually has assumed or the taken over the BRICS presidency for the year 2026. I made a video about it, and I'll post that in the link as well. I post the link down below. Okay. Now, and then after assuming the BRICS presidency and all that, when all that ceremony, everything was officially done, now Prime Minister Modi, he just they have just the Ministry of External Affairs of India has just announced that Prime Minister Modi is going to be visiting he will be on a state visit to Ethiopia, Jordan, and Oman. But primarily it is Ethiopia and Jordan that are main at this point. And why Oman is, I will talk about that later on though. But Ethiopia is very important at this point, that Ethiopia he's going there. Now, why it is important and why all these sequencing that's happening here, you see, why all that is. So let's talk about that, and then let's talk about what are the changes, why it is important, what are the changes that are coming that we are going to see, and this is going to happen really, really fast. All right. Now, let me give you some hint as well. All right. I don't know how many of you actually read the national America's U.S. national security strategy document. I made a video on that too. Actually, I made two videos on that, and one of them was dedicated to America's Africa strategy, which I have always supported. That yeah, this is how it should be. That's how you got to plan all those things. So, uh, Africa had a detailed uh, place in the America's national security strategy document for once, at least for the first time, I would say. Otherwise, Africa was pretty much ignored. Then, so all those things you have to keep in mind. Okay, what's going on here? All right, these things don't happen in isolation. All right, these are happening because there is a strategy hidden here. And I have been saying this thing all along, that Africa is the future, and you're gonna see that Africa is highly likely is gonna become a battlefield for for every country that's out there. Every major power that's out there is gonna try to flex its muscles in Africa to gain some influence in the rising African market and the rising African country, all that. Okay. So let's first of all, let's get started. Let's talk about all this. Please do like and subscribe. And here we go. All right, give me a second. Okay, there you go. Now, so let's talk about first. This is uh Ministry of External Affairs. This is Government of India. Now, guys, you have to understand. First, I want to mention that no, I just don't make India centric videos or anything. I make geopolitical videos. My whole idea here is, the whole core theme of this channel is to understand the world order, how this world order has worked in the past, in the ancient times, in the mid ages, and in the modern time, and then where it is headed as well, and get those projections out and get the predictions out. Those things is that's the specialty. That's my focus as far as this channel is concerned. All right. So yeah, please do like and subscribe and let's go. All right. So here's what it is. All right. The visit of Prime Minister to Jordan, Prime Minister Jordan, Ethiopia, and Oman, December 15 to 18, 2025. Okay. At the invitation of His Majesty King Abdullah II Ibn Al Hussein, Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi will undertake a visit to Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan from December 15 to December 16. Okay. During the visit, Prime Minister will meet His Majesty King Abdullah Ibn Al Hussein to review the entire gamut relations between India and Jordan and exchange perspective on regional issues. This visit, marking the 75th anniversary of establishment of diplomatic relations between the two countries, presents an opportunity to further strengthen India-Jordan bilateral engagement, explore new avenues of collaboration for mutual growth and prosperity, and reiterate our commitment to promote regional peace, prosperity, security, and stability. Okay, this is in terms of Jordan. Now, first of all, uh, let me read this whole thing and few more, and then we will get into it. Okay. Now, in the second leg of the visit, at the invitation of Prime Minister of Ethiopia, His Excellency Dr. Abiy Ahmed Ali, Prime Minister will pay a state visit to the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia from December 16 to December 17th. Ethiopia and Jordan are just right next to each other. All right. This will be the Prime Minister Modi's first visit to Ethiopia. He will be holding wide ranging discussions with Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed Ali. Okay, on all aspects of India Ethiopia bilateral ties. You have to understand that Ethiopia is also a civilizational country. Okay, it's not some random country. Ethiopia had a rich past, and Ethiopia is used to be one of the richest countries in the world. Like there was a time, all right. And I will actually, when I will make some video, I will make a video on this thing someday. Okay, this is a very interesting thing because um, back in those days, actually, this is the time I'm talking about when uh, there used to be trade in Africa, salt for gold trade. Okay, you have to look into it. And salt for gold because it used to be so hard that Africans they used to lose lots of sweat, lots of salt through the sweat. So they wanted salt to make up for the deficiency, okay, so that they don't collapse or any such thing, all right, to maintain the electrolyte level in the body. As partners in the global south, the visit will be a reiteration of shared commitment of the two nations to advance close ties of friendship and bilateral cooperation. All right, that's with Ethiopia. Okay. Now, in the final leg of his visit, at the invitation of His Majesty Dr. Sultan Haitham bin Tariq of Oman, Prime Minister will visit Sultanate of Oman from 17 to 18 December. Now, you have to understand that India has India's military base is over there. Okay, this will be a second visit of Prime Minister Modi to Oman. India and Oman share an all-encompassing strategic partnership underpinned by centuries old bonds of friendship, trade linkages, and strong people to people ties. The visit would mark 70 years of establishment of diplomatic relationship between the two countries and follows the state visit of His Majesty of Sultan of Oman to India in December 2023. He visited India in 2023. Okay. This visit will be an opportunity for both sides to comprehensively review the bilateral partnership, including the areas of trade, investment, energy, defense, security, technology, and agriculture, and as well as exchange views on regional and global issues of mutual interest. All right. Now, now let's move to the Ethiopia news, and I'm going to talk about all that in detail. Okay. Now, I already discussed all this. Now, let's go here. Hmm? So, With India to chair BRICS summit in 2026, PM Modi's Ethiopia visit is story moment. Okay. Now, Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. This is the opinion. With India set to chair the BRICS summit in 2026. Okay. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's upcoming visit to Ethiopia marks as a very historic moment that will strengthen bilateral ties and deepen cooperation on international issues, including UN reforms and BRICS agendas, said the India's ambassador to Ethiopia, Anil Kumar Rai. This whole thing will be discussed with Ethiopia. Now, uh, let's go further, okay? Because this is gonna get interesting. Now, India and Ethiopia are two civilizational countries. We have a strong standing, deep and friendly relationship. PM Modi will be first in Prime Minister to visit Ethiopia in last 15 years. So this is a very historic moment for us, and we see there that there is a big and rich agenda on which discussions will take place. Okay, it will strengthen the cooperation at the bilateral level. Both countries are members of BRICS, and we are very important partners when it comes to cooperating on international issues such as UN reform and regional issues, and also there are agendas which we discuss at the regional level, particularly at the levels of BRICS. Okay. India is going to chair BRICS in 2026 with Ethiopia being an important full member. You have to understand Ethiopia is a full member of BRICS. Okay. So all those issues will come up during the discussion. All right. Finally, we are under discussion in multiple sectors. We expect a good outcome of this, which we will convey to the media on the evening of 16th. Okay. PM Modi will be in Ethiopia for a 2-day visit during the second leg of his three-nation visit. This, all that good stuff. As partners in Global South, the visit will be reiteration of shared commitment of these two nations and bilateral cooperation. Okay, so as you can see, lots of things are being discussed here. Hmm? Now, and the timing of it is very elegant. And in fact, the Indian ambassador to Ethiopia also mentioned that since India is going to chair BRICS presidency into 2026. So all that will be discussed with Ethiopia as well. So uh, what will be discussed though? You have to understand what exactly Ethiopia has to offer that India wants to discuss. That's the important question here, right? See, I'll tell you. So Ethiopia hosts the African Union Commission headquarter. Okay, Ethiopia is the has the headquarter of it. All right, and Ethiopia has a very significant, uh, I would say, significant influence in the within the African Union. All right, now African Union. Now, before that, let me give you a little bit of backstory on these things too. That African Union, entire African Union, as a bloc, joined G20 in 2023. You have to understand. So, a bloc has joined a multilateral organization before, especially organization like African Union. They have joined. All right. Now, so Ethiopia has very big influence. And when G20 joined, I mean African Union joined G20, it had Ethiopia had a lot of say in it and lots of help in it. All right. Now, so Prime Minister Modi's visit over there is not just about going to Ethiopia and discuss all these trades and all that. Trade and all can be discussed anytime, anywhere, but you don't get invited for a state visit like that unless there is something major going on. Okay. So clearly, India has to offer something in which Ethiopia is on board. That's why there is a state visit. A state visit it from Ethiopia. It's not from India or something that, yeah, we are coming. Hey man, we are coming. No, it's not like that. Nothing like that, right? It's state visit that with on the invitation of Ethiopia. Okay, which means something is there, and that something I think is that African Union will one way or the other will get the representation in the BRICS, whether it will be a partner, observer, It's not going to be a full member, okay? Full member is not possible. It's not going to happen like that. But African Union probably will be a partner or an observer, one or the other, in the BRICS bloc next under India's BRICS presidency. All right. So some of you may like, oh no, that's not possible. It happened already in G20. Okay, that's number one thing. Number two thing, some of may say, oh, China may not agree or Russia may not agree. President Putin already visited India. All that has conversation is already sorted out. Okay. China has already made the commitment that China is going to support India's BRICS presidency in 2026. Full support. China has already said that. What does that mean? China will not say something like that blindly. China is saying it because China already knows the agenda and what exactly is India planning to do. And China fully supports that. What that could be that China is fully on board with Africa, African Union altogether. Okay. So, and Africa, you have to understand that Ethiopia is the key because Ethiopia is actually said to be the gateway to the African Union. Everything, all the entry in African Union starts from Africa, and any country that a country that can oppose Ethiopia in certain things is Egypt, and Egypt is also a full member of BRICS. So not a full member, but Egypt is a partner country, right? So all these countries are already there. Then only thing is that you need Central Africa and you need some of the Western Africa into the group too. Why? Because when the Arctic route is open, then you want a rock solid trade relationship with those Western African countries like Mali, Guinea, Morocco, all that. Okay. So that's why this trip becomes very important. Okay. Now, uh, what else is this? India. Now, next trip is Jordan. Now he's going to Jordan. So clearly, when he's going to Jordan, then Jordan has two purposes over there. First thing is that India's your Middle Eastern corridor, IMEC, that is, it passes through Jordan, and then through Israel. And just few days ago, actually, Benjamin Netanyahu, Bibi Netanyahu, had called PM Modi as well. So there is some conversation about those things. So right now, Jordan also needs some instruction that hey, what do we do about how do we proceed forward and this and that, considering the Gaza is calming down now slowly and slowly, this that. So that's another topic of discussion over there. The next thing is that I think that Jordan could be invited to the BRICS summit. Uh, may not to join the BRICS as such overall, but just to hey, come on, just visit. Let's make new friends. So Jordan may be invited over there too. So some of these countries will be given this type of official invitations to join, whether to join the BRICS or to attend the summit, whatever that is, right? So these things will be done, and this is why Prime Minister Modi is going to these countries. Now, why Oman? Oman, like I said earlier, that Oman is India's military base, and Oman has just uh, decided to give India spare parts for Jaguar and all that. And then there are a few other things like a supply chain, right? So Oman plays a very key role when it comes to the supply chain. Why? Because India's naval base is there. So naval base is very essential. Chances are that they may be planning to expand that naval base in order to make sure that uh, trade security is there. So so that's another conversation that's going to happen with Oman as well. Okay. So, so lots of things are going to happen. You will see, yeah, but most of these things are going to happen in relation to BRICS and the trade corridors and the maritime security. You will see that thing happening a lot. All right. And guess what? What does that mean? It simply means that we have officially entered a multilateral order. All right. And now you're gonna see because why I'm saying this, that's important part. See, first of all, after the national security strategy document that came out, national strategy security document clearly says that US needs to secure the Western Hemisphere. That's the bottom line. What's in the Western Hemisphere? Latin America, Caribbean, and all that. Okay. Then then you can also say Australia, maybe to an extent, New Zealand and all that to an extent through AUKUS, whatever. But US definitely will walk away from European Union simply because of too much monarchical influence in there. Okay. Right now, US is actually trying to get rid of all the MI6 influence within the USS system, the bureaucracy that's there. Hmm? So lots of things are going on. So now, after US said that, America's national security strategy document said that that the US is going to secure Western Hemisphere. So, uh, of course, why is that? Because they cannot secure anything else. So who is going to secure the entire Eastern Hemisphere? That's the question. Financially, no country is capable to secure the entire Eastern Hemisphere. So it has to be a joint effort. It's too big. It's too much land mass in the Eastern Hemisphere, and uh, so who is going to do that? China, India, and Russia. And they are all working to secure all that one at a time already. Things are already in works. Okay. So that's why when I started the video, I talked about trade corridor, I talked about President Putin's visit, all these things, because they are all in line. You will see what I'm talking about. It's coming. Okay. So, and I think this is it for this video, guys. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do like and subscribe. And I will talk to you guys in another video. Thank you.